The old wooden gate creaked open just as the sun dipped behind the mountains. Ethan had spent years believing that loneliness was easier than heartbreak, but the moment he saw the young woman standing on the dusty road with a worn suitcase in her hand, something inside him stopped. She looked nervous, as if she had traveled 1,000 miles carrying a secret too heavy for her heart. Then she took a slow step forward and quietly told him that his father had sent her. What she said next would change both of their lives forever. Before we continue, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and stories that remind us of the power of human connection, please like this video, comment where you're watching from, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to the channel for more emotional stories. Ethan had lived alone on his family's ranch for nearly 7 years. The ranch sat in a quiet valley surrounded by rolling fields and distant mountains. It was beautiful, but beauty felt meaningless when there was nobody to share it with. After losing his wife in a tragic accident years earlier, Ethan had slowly withdrawn from the world. Friends stopped visiting. Neighbors rarely saw him except when he drove into town for supplies. The laughter that once filled the farmhouse had been replaced by silence. His father, Walter, worried about him constantly. Walter was an old-fashioned man who believed that no one was meant to face life alone. Every Sunday he would visit the ranch, bringing homemade pie and trying to convince Ethan to open his heart again. But Ethan always refused. He told himself that love only brought pain. He buried himself in work and convinced himself he was fine. Then one winter, Walter became seriously ill. As his health declined, he spent more time thinking about his son than himself. He feared that when he was gone, Ethan would completely disappear into isolation. The thought haunted him during sleepless nights. Several months later, Walter passed away peacefully. The loss shattered Ethan. For weeks he barely left the house. The ranch felt emptier than ever. Every corner carried memories of his father. The rocking chair on the porch, the coffee mug sitting on the kitchen shelf, the old truck parked beside the barn. Life became a routine of surviving rather than living. Then, 6 months after the funeral, the unexpected visitor arrived. The young woman standing by the gate introduced herself as Clara. She looked no older than 26. Her eyes carried both determination and sadness. Ethan immediately wondered why she was there. As they stood beneath the afternoon sun, Clara explained that she had known Walter. The revelation stunned him. She told him that years earlier, when she was struggling to survive after aging out of foster care, Walter had helped her. He had paid for her education, encouraged her through difficult times, and treated her like family when she had none. Over the years, they remained close. Before Walter died, he had asked her for a promise she had finally gathered enough courage to fulfill. Clara admitted that Walter often spoke about Ethan. He worried constantly about his son. He feared that grief had become a prison from which Ethan could no longer escape. Then she lowered her eyes and quietly revealed the message Walter had left for her. He believed Ethan needed someone beside him, someone who could remind him that life was not over. Someone who could help him find his way back to happiness. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. The wind moved gently through the fields while distant birds circled above the valley. Ethan felt anger at first. How could his father arrange something like this? How could he believe another person could simply walk into his life and fix years of heartbreak? Yet beneath the anger was something else. Hope. A feeling he had not experienced in a very long time. Clara wasn't there because of money. She wasn't looking for a place to stay. In fact, she had built a respectable life for herself in another city. She had come because she loved and respected Walter enough to honor his final wish. Over the following days, Ethan reluctantly allowed her to stay in the guest room until she could arrange her return home. But something unexpected happened. The empty farmhouse began to feel alive again. Clara filled quiet spaces with conversation. She helped repair broken fences. She planted flowers near the porch. She cooked meals that brought warmth back into the house. Most importantly, she listened. She listened when Ethan spoke about his late wife. She listened when he shared memories of his father. She listened during long evenings when grief finally began finding words after years of silence. For the first time in years, Ethan felt seen. One evening, while sorting through boxes in the attic, they discovered a collection of letters Walter had written but never mailed. Many were addressed to Ethan, others were addressed to Clara. As they read them together, tears filled their eyes. Walter had written about family, forgiveness, healing, and the courage required to keep loving after loss. His words felt like a final conversation reaching them from beyond time. That night, Ethan sat alone on the porch watching the stars emerge over the valley. He realized something important. His father had never been trying to replace the people Ethan had lost. He had simply wanted his son to keep living, to keep opening his heart, to keep believing that joy was still possible. The next morning, Ethan found Clara standing near the gate where she had first arrived. The same suitcase rested beside her. She was preparing to leave. For a moment, fear gripped him. Not the fear of heartbreak, the fear of losing someone who had helped him rediscover himself. And in that moment, he finally understood what his father had been trying to tell him all along. Before the ending, I have a special request. Comment below with one word that describes what family means to you. Ethan walked toward Clara with tears in his eyes and gratitude in his heart. He no longer saw her as a stranger carrying out a promise. He saw her as a blessing that had arrived when he needed it most. Sometimes life sends people into our path not to erase our pain, but to help us carry it. And sometimes the greatest gifts come disguised as unexpected arrivals at an old wooden gate. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like the video, leave a comment, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe to support the channel. Your support helps keep these meaningful stories alive. As Clara smiled through her tears and the morning sunlight painted the valley gold, Ethan finally felt something he thought he had lost forever. Not certainty, not perfection, but hope. And sometimes hope is the beginning of everything. Red.